Right. Well, um, I feel a bit better this morning. I was tired last night. I've got a clean vest on, clean pants. I just got out of the bath, so I'm feeling really good. Um, I I wanted to tell you a bit about yesterday. Um, Obviously, I went to the library. That was great. No fine this time. And after that, I got on the bus and I went to Bristol. And I thought you could go in the old police station down at Bridewell. I thought, well, maybe that's free, and I'll have a look around the cells. And it wasn't. Well, it wasn't. You couldn't look round. I thought it was. I thought there was a sign on the side. Anyway, it doesn't matter. But while I was trying to get in the police station, I noticed the number 8 bus, which goes from the Broadmead in Bristol to Clifton. I think it ends up at the zoo, something like that. Anyway, I didn't want to go to the zoo, so I got off in Clifton, and I went somewhere a bit different actually. I hadn't been there for a while, and it's up by Clifton Suspension Bridge. That Brunel's Bridge, the big bridge that goes over the gorge there. And I went to a place called the Clifton Observatory. I think that's what it's called. To my generation, it would have been called the Camera Obscura. So I went in there, and it was a cloudy day. So being a cloudy day, it's probably not the best time to go and look at something which works off of the sun. So I didn't bother with that. But I went to a place I hadn't been into for about 30 years. That's the Giant's Cave, which is underneath the Camera Obscura. Now, the thing is with Giant's Cave is that it's not really. You picture this huge thing, and it's like a small hole in the ground that a legless dwarf would probably struggle to get through. But it's worth going and seeing, because when you get down to the bottom, you go down through this thing under this building, down all these steps, and you come out in this basket, which you stand on, and you can look over the Avon Gorge, and you can look up on the one side, and Clifton Suspension Bridge is up there, and you can look down to the water of the gorge and all that. Absolutely stunningly beautiful. Really, really nice. Anyway, of course, like anything else, when you go down, you've got to go back up, and it's quite steep, and I was bent over all the way up, and all my legs. Anyway, so I went back up, and the next thing I did was I had a walk around the shops in Clifton. They're all right, I mean, somebody looking like I do, they probably think I'm up there trying to pinch something. Anyway, I went back to my old school, which is no longer a school, which is Lara Trait, which was a school run by the church, the nuns. The nuns were there when I was a child, and it was a well-known girls' school in Bristol. And I think my parents must have had some sort of sense of humour sending me there. But anyway, that's that. After which, I'm trying to get all this in so that you know. After which, I went to a place a bit over from where Lara Trait was, where a church called St Andrews used to be. Not that I remember it, because it was bombed in 1940 and all that's left is a graveyard. But that in itself, if you ever get a chance, go and have a look at St Andrew's Church, or the church graveyard. And somebody's put some little signs up, they've laminated some bits of paper, so there's some old pictures of it and that. And you walk under, there's a walkway right through the graveyard, and you walk under this beautiful canopy all the way through. I don't know what particular plant it is. I can remember going through there at times, and the blossom drops at a certain time of the year. It's really, really stunningly beautiful. I took a little bit of food, and you put your fingers out like that, and the squirrels run up and take it out of your hand. And then I had a bit of a walk down to the Victoria Rooms, and down into the end of White Ladies Road, down towards Park Street. And this is quite important, really. I went in the museum, the City Museum, because I needed to use a toilet, and it's free. Right, it's free. Everything you've got to pay for these days, but you go in the City Museum, you get in for free, you can use a toilet for free. And they've got really good soap in there and everything. Anyway, after that, I walked up the road, and this is the ironic bit, isn't it? It really is. there's the toilet, the public toilet. It was built in 1904, beautiful brick building, and I remember as a child, and you can look in through the doors, which are now permanently locked, gates, which are now permanently locked and chained up, and you can see the old Edwardian cast iron water system in there. So following that, I walked down and carried on down the road, and I wanted to head for Christmas Steps, and I walked down a little road, and there's a old antique sort of shop down there called Pastimes, and I noticed that the same bloke had been in it since when I was at school. Only this time he wasn't there, and the shop was looking a bit shabby, and I have to admit, I'm a little bit worried about him, because he and I used to have little conversations, and sometimes like, you got a kid in the shop who's interested in knives and guns, and I say gun, they're all deactivated, and wartime sort of bullet cases or whatever. And sometimes like you tell me the odd thing, a little bit on the cheap side. Anyway, following that, down Christmas Steps, and halfway down Christmas Steps. Now this is interesting. I found this picture, and it was in the shop window, and it was a picture of Christmas Steps in the 1960s. And at the bottom of Christmas Steps, there was a picture. It was taken from across the road, so it was taken upwards, and there was the fish and chip shop. It said fish and chips and restaurant. And lo and behold, of course, the fish and chip shop is it is still there. It's always been in everybody's memory, the fish and chip shop. And I went down to the bottom there, and we had chips and chip shop. As time was getting on a little bit then, and we walked on up back to the bus station. I looked at my which I'm wearing. I wear this, my Fitbit at the end of the day, and of course. Everything's in kilometres now, and you've got to go and work it all out with a pen and paper. But I worked out that I had a walk somewhere around about 10 miles. So yeah, I was quite pleased with that. And I hadn't eaten very much, and I thought, well, maybe when I get on the scales today, well, next day as it was then, but today, I thought, well, perhaps I've lost a little bit of weight, because I've been trying to lose a little bit. And I was exactly the same weight this morning as I started out yesterday, so there you have it. Anyway, back to Wales, and yeah, that was about it. Wonderful day.